Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. It's the transfer show. It is Tuesday. Everton still have not bought a single player in this transfer window, but have been linked with lots of people. So in that, that's a moral boosting result, at least, isn't it?
Of course it is.
You know, very much.
You want to, if you're not getting linked with Marco Arnautovic,
well, are you even alive?
Are you even a club?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what a club we are. The board hates us. The board's drove a huge coach through the chasm. It hates us, blames us for everything.
What chasm would be drove into by a coach?
Like, you know, the one in Star Wars, where
there's
like,
no coaches in Star Wars.
No, but
what kind of Star Wars have you been watching?
There's a lot of chasms. That's what I'm talking about.
This sounds like some other version of Star Wars.
Not.
It sounds.
When Luke's with Darth Vader, the chasm where
He's not driving a Mersey bus.
Of course he's. Well, because Merseyside isn't where the chasm is. Unless you're the Everton board.
It's not on a National Express. On the National Express.
Luke, I am your driver. Yeah. Okay. What can you do? I mean, I'll be honest.
Imagine he's going down. He's going down to shoot it, the exhaust, and he's just like, "Oh, I've got to make a stop here. I'll have me tacos run out."
Bet you there was loads of headlocks on that coach as well. No, it's
allegedly he's gone there.
Allegedly.
Well,
allegedly.
For the safety reasons, they just don't want to
CCTV, but they're showing
it.
Everton have a link.
Just trying to see the fun side.
I need to get Jamie. You need to get Jamie.
No, we're not allowed to have Jamie. We're not allowed.
I mean, I'll be honest. Disclaimer.
You can have him on your show.
I am having him on my show, but it's not about Everton.
It's not about Everton.
It's
general football. Clothes off and run into the sea.
Did you see thingy this morning? There was a clip on like Twitter or something this morning about when Keane was with Kyle. And Kyle defending. Well, I mean, it's not a surprise defending Mikel.
He was spot on though, and he held his nerve.
But he did hold his nerve.
I mean, it's from like
That's from a couple of years.
That was from.
Why does Keane get a cop on? He always gets a cop on with everyone, doesn't he?
But tell me what he's won. Tell me what he's won.
3 games.
Tell me what he's won.
3 games. Terrible.
But he's won the game.
Apologies to Carla.
He's won the game. He's won the game.
No, but the best thing about it was Kyle went, no, but they know how they lost it.
To be fair, I watch Everton lose, and I know how they lose. I go,
they're not very good. Yeah, I could see on Saturday when our goalie couldn't be bothered diving. No, it was interesting. Transfers. Let's have a little look around the transfer market today. Nottingham Forest have signed a highly rated player 37 for Nottingham Forest. How many dressing rooms have they got? Poor Umar couldn't get a locker when he's at Everton. Forest have got 108 players.
The lads on the... Let me just...
Does Cooper do anything?
The lads on the 10th Pint podcast, I've got an interview with I can't remember who it is, but he played with Umar at Cardiff.
I was a Peltier, Lee
and
Peltier.
He just said, like, Jesus.
You didn't think he was very good?
No.
He scored a lot of goals for us.
Yeah, just not for
Moonwalks into Everton's team now. That's not saying much, is it? Yeah, no, Forest have another 140 players they bought. Danilo, who is actually really highly rated, could be good. A lot of talk about Mudryk today. Obviously, Graham Potter's comments about whether or not he wanted them. But they've bought him an 8.5-year contract.
This will always be, I suppose, the line, isn't it, for certain fans of like, should managers buy players? I know there's a lot of other lines, but there's this thing, isn't it, of like,
where do you stand on it?
I don't think managers need to buy players genuinely, and I feel like I am a bit old schooly, but I don't think they do. I genuinely believe that I'm a manager or a coach that doesn't need to buy players. I think what should happen is you should have your transfer committee. You should have your manager, you should have your director of football, you should have loads of opinions in the room, but obviously not like the T-boy who walks in, trusted people who understand, and you get perspective. I know back in the day, Arsene Wenger used to only have a really small set of scouts, and he used to send them out to watch this, and he used to send them all out to watch the same player, and then get their opinions, and then that's how he used to buy players, you know, like, he wants fresh eyes, and I don't think it should, because football nowadays, the way it works, I mean, look at our situation. We keep on saying, oh, another manager, another set of players. Well, if the director of football was allowed to work in his parameters and was allowed to pick the manager, and you had an ethos like Brighton seem to do, and I know there's loads of people out there who go, oh, Brighton, are they the new flavour of the month, are they? Well, as I said to someone the other day, Everton are not flavour of the month, ever are we? So you have to look at other people. But if you get a system that works, and then you bring another manager who complements that system, then you've got a plan in place, haven't you? And I think, for me, that's what it should be. Don't get me wrong, the manager should sit down, and it should be, as long as it's all agreed on, by the way, because I know Chelsea have had certain things before where the manager's like, oh, they bought me this fella, I don't really want him. Potter seems to be a lot more of a modern football manager who understands the process. I think if you sit down and the manager says, listen, we really, really need a right winger, and the director of football says, right, I can get you these three, what do you think? And if he says, well, out of those three, I don't like this that fella, and then the director of football says, right, well, we won't go, but we'll go for one of these other three, and he gets them and he gives them to the manager, then I'm in for that.
But isn't the manager part of that though?
But he's got to be part of it. But I don't think nowadays we can have a system where the manager says, I want him. If the director of football, don't forget, and we've got experience of this, right? If we'd stopped that other idiot from buying players, then we wouldn't have bought so much dross. That idiot being Roberto Martinez, because he was allowed to just run around and do what we just talked about him on the ass. He was told not to buy him. He was told he wasn't good enough, and he went out and bought him. I think you've got to have.
Quite ironically, Moussa Dembele was his other option.
Yeah,
we were talking about in a minute. At 5 million, and the ass was 13.5, and he went for the ass.
Van
Dijk or Romero for Unez Murray.
If there'd been adults in the room, would have gone and get Van Dijk. Go and get him. And if you've got a director of football who understands the parameters of football much better than the actual manager, managers can get, like Potter said, my job is to sort this team out, make them better, coach them every day. That's what a manager is. There's so many facets now to what's going on. I just don't think a manager.
You need someone. No, listen, I've swung both between the two of them and going, I understand the manager. If you're the manager, you want to look and go, I need this. But the job is so big nowadays. But you also have to protect the football club. And the football club, particularly ours, needs protecting from itself.
Yeah, exactly,
other people. Is that we've got, it shouldn't have mattered, right, how many managers Everton have had. Chelsea have proved this.
No, it shouldn't.
Chelsea have proved this. Chelsea basically changed their manager every 2 years, if not less than that. Don't they? Right? And I've still won trophies all the way through. They've changed managers all the way through and have won trophies all the way through. It's never stopped. So therefore, all that talk can almost be put down to being nonsense, can't it? But by the same token, you have to, if you buy players, you've got to have someone who's strong leading it. So if the director of football, you've decided he's the right man for the job, his vision should be there then, shouldn't it? His vision
should be.
His vision should be, right, if Frank Lampard doesn't work out, well, it doesn't matter that he's bought Amadou Onana or James Garner or him, because those players are still going to be good players for the next manager regardless. And therefore that through line has to be put in place. It's what Brighton have done. Yeah. Brentford have been doing it, and Thomas Frank took that on. It'd be interesting to see if Thomas Frank left and someone else come in, whether that would carry on, because there's always the caveat is, can the manager get the best out of that? I think managers are always going to go, I need this, and it is up to the director of football to go.
But the thing about it is, isn't it, it's so big now that a manager's vision, he's got, like, think about a manager, what he does during the week. He's got games coming thick and fast, he's studying, he's taking bits from the last game, he's going into the next game. When does he have real time to go and scour the world and see these talents? Now Frank Lampard, right, might sit in a room and come and go, I've just seen this player play against us and I really like the look of him, or I've seen that lad, I've had videos of this lad. And Kevin Felwell might walk in and go, listen, there's a lad playing in Ecuador now, we can get him for £5 million, and I guarantee you he's as good, if not better, than this fella who's playing in the Championship, that is going to cost us 25 million quid, that is going to want huge wages. This fella's on buttons. And I think that's the way to sort of think about it. I think that's the way people like Andy, the Piv, think about it now, is that the world is to... We keep on... You said it yourself. You said it for the last 3 or 4 years about certain players. Those players might not have been on Everton's radar because the manager's like, who's this lad playing in France? Why should I go after him? What's the point of that? I haven't seen him play. Who's he playing against? Whereas the director of football sitting there going, I've watched him loads. This is the fella to get. This is the fella to get. I've got all my scouts, and if you've got a manager who goes, no, I've got this fella here. I've got me mate. We share the same. We share the same agent. All that kind of stuff. No, I want this fella. See, that's where I think that's where modern football clubs are like, no, mate. You could be here for 5 minutes. And I think we as a football club have simply not developed into a football club that understands those rules. We give far too much rope to our managers.
It's like the Mudryk thing, which we're talking about now, isn't it? You just mentioned Potter there. Who are we saying will be at Chelsea longer? Mudryk or Potter?
Well, that's...
No, but you know what I mean.
Mudryk will be there. No, what's funny? I was listening. Go on.
Because Potter could easily be sacked.
No, he could be, but that's the problem.
But Mudryk will still be a play for the next manager.
No, exactly. And
the next one.
Funny enough, I was listening to someone Mudryk yesterday. It was really, really interesting about saying that he'd only actually played 35 games for them, Shakhtar, and if the war that happened, he wouldn't even have got in their team. Because the reason he got in their team is because all the Brazilians left.
He left, yeah.
And that's how he got into the team. Yeah. And he says, isn't that mad?
But that shows you, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was like
that
saying,
shows
that's
you
how
immediately.
A lot of young players do get into football teams, just by some little bit of luck. You're on a bad run, or the fella in front of you.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Marcus Rashford got in the
would never have got in Everton's team if Everton would have been able to buy a striker.
Yeah.
Everton would have bought a striker.
Unless, and let's be fair, Brands did say at the time.
No, he did.
We've got the centre forward.
He did,
here.
But I'm talking about Koeman. If Koeman would have got Giroud at the time or someone else, Dom is gonna be. You'd have been waiting.
And
for
on
him.
the flip side of that, like we've said loads of times, whether you would rate him or not, Tom Davis's progress was stopped by buying plays in front of him.
Of course it was.
So it works both ways, and that's where, like you're saying there, you need, you bring someone in for 8.5 years. Of course, he's going to outlast Potter. Of course, Graham Potter's not staying at Chelsea for 8.5 years, even if he does well.
The point was just that's why you need someone who is there to go. With all due respect, Gaffer, you could be gone in a year, or you might move on in 2 years and go. If you do really well, you might go somewhere else.
Just want to say that Ian Wright has apologised to Everton fans.
About time.
Yeah, he apologised. 2 days, but
they should have. Mate, he should never have said it.
No, he shouldn't have. But
dived in with 2 feet.
No,
he's gone full Chrissy Marston from Southampton, circa 2001.
They all have, and as we said yesterday, it's utter nonsense. What got said on Saturday is utter nonsense.
It's lies.
The club have embarrassed themselves. Absolutely embarrassed themselves.
I said this morning, the club of what the board have done, and whoever released that statement or thought that was a good idea, has done far more damage than what they were worried about the protest was going to do. Right? They should have just fronted the protest up and gone, listen, you've got every right to protest. They knew it. They let everyone bring the flags in. They knew it was happening. Yeah. Right? So they should have just fronted it up and gone fair play, and they haven't. They've done. Listen, I'm not denying someone won't have someone won't have made a threat. Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure. No, I think I'm pretty certain people will have done, but that happens everywhere, right? And I'm not saying that should ever be taken lightly, because it shouldn't be, because there's lunatics around, right? But what I would say is, when you start coming up with things to try and get yourself, Everton are in a holy mess at the moment, a deep mess at the moment. Deep. What they've done is they've caused a divide between the fans and the club, and they've put the needs of themselves before the needs of the football club. They could have just not turned up at the weekend. Yeah. Right? People would have gone out the shit bag, whatever, blah de blah, right? And Everton could have just put a statement out saying, "Oh, the board were advised not to attend today's game." Right, on by the police or whatever, right? And he would have got a little bit of kickback for it, of course he would have. But that should have been it. Right? And that statement could have come out Sunday, couldn't it? They could have let the whole thing play out. And then they could have gone, right, we're telling you what. Or they could have released, they knew they weren't going on Friday. So they could have released it on Friday, going, Everton's board won't be at the game tomorrow because of on police advice or whatever. And nothing else. Didn't need anything else said. There's always going to be an answer. There's always going to be something. If you don't go, they're always going to come back, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? They're always going to come back with something rather than stay silent. Okay? People wouldn't have liked it. But that's the way it is. They weren't there anyway. But to do what they did on Saturday changed the whole atmosphere.
Yeah.
And then...
And that, they've been caught in the lie. They've been caught in the lie.
And
it's as simple as that.
Because they've done it, they've now made it 50 times worse.
Yeah,
They've ruined themselves to the point
caught.
of they're done.
They're
literally done. There's no way back.
They've been caught in a lie. They've been caught in every... We've seen that unfold last night. We've seen it unfold.
And
they put a statement out. I heard about the statement about 7:30 that it was coming out. I had no idea what was going to be in it. I didn't know if it was going to be some profound new evidence that told you what had gone on. And the statement come out at 8 o'clock that didn't even appear on Everton's website, that didn't go on Everton's socials. It was sent out to the BBC and Sky eventually when they got the email right. And it basically said nothing. It had zero context. The police stitched them up like a kipper earlier on in the day when the police basically went, nothing's happened.
But the police have just told them.
Exactly. No, the police. No, I don't when I say stitched up. I don't mean I just mean the police done them over in the day. The police are basically saying nothing's happened. I don't know what this is. And when I look back on what had actually been said and where the actual thing had come from and how it had been blown out of proportion, there was nothing in the original statement on the day about the headlock. It was basically an unknown source who didn't want to be named because of safety, right?
Yeah.
Because of their safety. And I know exactly who it is because I know he was ringing around people at 3:30, telling people, putting the story out, getting it out to everybody of what happened, making sure that certain people peddled it or
Who we thought.
No, I'll tell you who it is later.
Oh, okay.
I've got never seen
it
on here.
Go on.
Putting the story out later on to get it out to as many people as it is so that fiction become fact rather than just hearsay. And it went round like wildfire to the point where Sky, BBC, was on Match of the Day, Talk Sport, all of them running. Athletic, it's still on. Greg O'Keefe, it's still on your website. Paddy, it's still there. It still says there was a headlock. There wasn't. Bullshit. Get it off your website. Get it off. Greg O'Keefe, get it off your website because you put it there, lad. Right? I don't care. I honestly don't care.
No,
These people are peddling the lies.
No,
right?
I don't.
You put it, it's still there. You're peddling the lie that they put out. I know you need stories, but get it off your website. It's still there. It makes all of us look bad. It makes all of us look bad because it never happened. Never happened. It never happened. Get it off your website. And that's the problem. It went out like it was fact. It's not fact. It's hearsay. An unknown source that didn't want to be named. And what would he be scared of? Was it the Kane do the headlock? Or he worried he'd come back and do the fireworks at the main stand? What are they worried about? Brock Lesnar going to turn up? He's going to break, the streak on the...
It's crazy.
It's absolute nonsense. And it's been peddled. And it's great to see someone like Ian Wright, who always seems to have a soft spot with Everton. And we've met Ian Wright, and he's a lovely fella.
He likes Everton.
He likes Everton because he used to always score against them, probably. But lovely. I've been lucky to meet him a couple of times professionally. He's such a nice fella.
Good lad.
And yeah, that story needs to be. And Everton basically proved it last night by not mentioning the story. Just said historic incidents. Historic incidents that happened nearly 2 weeks ago, like you're saying. Utter bullshit. You've been caught in the lie. I've got professional journalists calling me. I mean, journalists, most of them are professional, but very senior journalists ringing me last night going, what is going on? What is going on at this football club? This is nonsense. Absolute nonsense. You've been caught. Don't come back. Don't come back to Everton. Don't come back to Goodison Park. You're not wanted. Don't come back. Absolute clowns, the lot of yous. There you go. You just want to rant a day now, don't you? It's like trademark stuff.
There you go. Yeah, it's mad. It's absolutely mad. Arnaut Danjuma will return to England on Wednesday to continue talks with Premier League clubs over a loan from Villarreal. Everton, Bournemouth and Forest, the three clubs keen on bringing in Danjuma. However, Villarreal granting Danjuma permission to speak to clubs has generated further interest, and he'll make his decision over the next few days. There you go. That's happening.
Ned, send Ian Wright a message, see if we can get him on the show.
Conor Gallagher is
done.
Available.
Of course he is.
To go on loan.
Of course he is. Not good enough for Chelsea.
Oh, no. Shame.
No.
No. If Everton had anything about him, they'd go after him. Not saying he'd come here, but you'd go and certainly ask the question, wouldn't you? Why not? Southampton are in talks with Villarreal for Nicholas Jackson, who, of course, heavily linked with Everton. So, of course, he'll end up at Southampton. Arsenal want Declan Rice. He's their
but that's their number one target now, isn't it? Certainly after they missed out on the Mudryk deal.
And also
that's sensible though, isn't it? Because that's like
different play. I mean, it's weird because it's a totally different player.
No, but it's what I'm saying is that's a really sensible one, because he's a top player. He's looking for that big move now, and I think what they're doing is they're putting the feelers out now. They're saying we know what we want, and it's a sensible approach.
But this isn't that interesting one. Arsenal have made initial contact with Moussa Dembele of Bayer Leverkusen. Moussa Diaby, rather.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Dembele with Everton here, reading that.
Only have had in about 2 years.
Diaby we should have had 2 years ago. But he is quality, quick, got goals in him. Everton, I think they watched them 11 times and didn't make a bid. And they could have had them for about 18, 19 million. And now they're talking upwards of 50, 60, 70 million now for Diaby. So it'd be interesting to see what he does in the Premier League. Obviously, Leon Bailey scored again at the weekend. He hasn't really. He's been partying a little bit by all accounts, but shows his quality at times. But Diaby's another one. He's got a lot of ability. Be interesting to see in a good side like Arsenal what he could do. Leandro Trossard will be allowed to leave Brighton this window if Spurs pay the money.
Because he's like,
he's the top scorer.
That shows you. Again, I don't want to sound like a Brighton fan channel, which maybe that's
maybe you
should
look
into.
Probably more happiness.
Be able to go. We don't need you. Like, if you're going to be a sulky little whiny person, we don't need you. We've got players who can take your place. Do you know what I mean? That's what a great position to be in as a football club. To go, you know what, we can sell you, not be worse off, and make some good money as well. That's what a great position.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you do things correctly, then this is how it should be. Everton, I had a conversation last night with someone who, not Andy McGregor, but someone else who works in football, who isn't attached to Everton.
Yeah,
and
very much has them in their heart.
Just not attached to Everton, and was just no.
Oh, sorry.
No, someone else. And he was just saying that, in his opinion, it wouldn't take that much to fix Everton in terms of getting them going the other way. Then obviously it's at the heart of everything is recruitment.
Yeah.
And it's how you do it. And scrambling around for players doesn't work. You've got to have a clear plan. You've got to stick to the plan. But it's not difficult. And he kind of agreed with me. He was like, the Premier League isn't actually great. To get your team between 8th and 10th isn't that difficult if you're organised.
I was listening to one of the radio stations on the way in. I was listening to some. There was no Spurs, and they were just saying they weren't negative about Spurs, but they were just like, it wouldn't take that much to fix Spurs because everything's in place there. Decent players, decent owner, obviously great stadium. It's just about, they were more like, I don't think Spurs genuinely believe Conte's the man, because he's basically continually fighting with everything at the football club. And they were like, it's not. If everyone starts pulling,
Do you reckon he's going?
If everyone's pulling in the right direction, they'll start moving in the direction they want to go. Okay, will he get there? Well, maybe not, but that's not always what fans fight against, is it? We don't sit here at Evertonians saying we demand to be top 4. What we're saying is, I think Jonathan Lewis wrote a good piece today in The Guardian about it, is it's not about saying this is what we want. We want a football club that at least it feels like it's pulling all in the right direction. And last season, the second half of last season, or certainly from March, April onwards, that's what we all felt. We felt like we had a football club that was all pulling in the right direction. You know, with the fans and what Frank Lampard was saying, all that kind of thing. You need that to start with. If you've got a board that wants to fight with its own fans, then you're straight off. It doesn't matter what anything else you're doing. You're in a mess. And let's be honest, Everton, there's been part of Everton's fan base that have been fighting with its board for 10 years, and that's the truth. And if you could look at Newcastle, again, another example, everybody's pulling in the same direction. So it makes everything seem easy, because it's like the fans know that the people who are running the club now, whether you like them or not, or whatever's going on there, they're doing the best to make that club the best it can be, and everyone's pulling in the same direction. So you get the kind of luck they got on Sunday. I mean, what an incredible piece of luck they got on Sunday for the penalty. I mean, you've seen it, haven't you?
Who's?
Newcastle.
Oh,
Mitrovic.
yeah, Mitrovic, yeah. That's unbelievable.
That's
0-0.
That doesn't happen.
By the way, and I know it's the rule, and it's not against Newcastle, the rule is pathetic.
Oh, yeah, it should be retaken.
Because he slips.
Yeah, it should
it's
be
not
retaken.
like a deliberate thing.
Yeah.
So
it should be
it's
retaken.
Nonsense. But they did get huge luck, and then they get, because everything's going the right way.
Look at Manchester United.
Yeah.
Look at the goal they scored.
Scandalous.
That should be 100% disallowed. Everybody knows that. But you get that luck. Everton play the last home game before COVID. He played Manchester United. You know, Everton have a shot deflected. Sigurdsson pulls his feet up and it goes in. Why is that any different? But in a game like that, it is different, because that's what happens sometimes in football. You get your luck when you've got your momentum, and everything seems to be going for you. Everything's going in the right direction, and that's you. But you've got to have a football club in the start that is doing that, and I think that's where certainly where Everton are as a football club. We're not all pulling in the right direction. What the fans want is completely different to what the owners seem to want, which is mad. And that's where we find ourselves. There you go. But anyway.
Yeah, well, it is mad. Just having a look. If any of people talking about David Prentice. I've seen this, Carla says Everton, saying they're not going to discuss historic incidents, proves to me it was a total lie. There you go. Where are we? RM says, Whoop, I've just seen this yet. Ward Prowse spoke about the unrest at Everton as something to exploit. He did also say, like, it's amazing, like the atmosphere and all that. We spoke about it, but we had to do well. JT says, what happened to the channel if we get relegated?
Nothing.
It'll be even bigger because there'll be zero coverage of Everton anywhere. So to be honest, this will be double.
If Everton were playing,
exposure.
If Everton were playing in the National League, we'd still be here.
Nah, it's not really.
People tied to the Premier League. We
don't have to do the Premier League.
We don't have mass. We don't have mass sponsors keeping this channel going, do we? We haven't got any sponsors. If anyone wants to sponsor us,
yeah.
If anyone has a business out there that wants to sponsor some shows, then
there you go.
But we don't even have sponsors, do we? We have our fans. We have people, Everton fans, who want to hear Everton opinions from journalists, from business people, from us, who just want to have a laugh with us.
Yeah.
And as long as those people keep watching, then there'll be no problem.
Of course they will. There'll be nowhere else to get any Everton stuff. So there you go. The Syrian Zillion says the offside rule is different for Man United. It is mad, isn't it? How that was given, that goal, because he ran towards the ball, Rashford, and he it's not like he stopped and the ball ran across. He motioned towards the ball. I don't understand.
But I've seen the video of like the goalie. The goalie's absolutely got his eyes fixated on the ball, like he's going to strike it. That's what his fault is. Yeah. And then when the other fella kicks it, you watch him and he goes, "Where did that come from?" Yeah. So how can you not say he's into? It's the rule again. It's the rule. It's the word, and it's sticking to the letter of the law. It's referees not having the ability, or the VAR not having the ability to go, "Don't be stupid." Of course, he's interfering with the play. It's ridiculous. And this is where the laws are just an absolute arse, because you are going word for word on what the rules are. There's got to be interpretation there. It's, offside should be black and white in a way, but that to me is just rewrite the rules. If there's a player and he's going to everything in that move is gesturing like he's going to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just not right.
Yeah. It is crazy. It's crazy, but that's what it's about. We've got to somehow get on the front foot for the rest of the season. I don't know how we do it. I'm not gonna lie, because at the moment the games just keep coming, and they keep just coming and going, don't they? The games, we lose another game and we lose another. It's mad. We haven't won a game since mid-October.
It's exactly like last year, isn't it?
It's crazy. It's just
exactly
crazy.
Like last year.
And but somehow we've got to be able to. We've got to be able to turn it round somehow, and it is momentum, and sometimes it's a couple of players, and then you feel different. I don't know, you feel differently or whatever, or maybe it's the manager will get changed, and then someone will come in and just change the structure of the team, and they'll grind. I don't know. But we need something. But there is half a season to go, and teams have turned round much worse situations than this. Like I said, if Everton would have won at the weekend, they'd have been 14 today, and the feeling would have been totally different. They didn't, I get it. But it's not like we're 10 points adrift and there's just no hope. But the games are going by week by week, aren't they?
We've won 3 games of football.
Yeah.
That's
so if we do the same again, we're down, aren't we?
And we're looking for improvements, and the improvements not coming. We've just played all the crap teams. We've just been beaten by the bottom side twice at home. When people go, "Oh, you should stay positive," it's like, well, show me where to stay positive. Show me where the bounce comes from, because it normally comes from sacking a manager or getting new players in. But we just look like we're doing neither. We look like and the people who run the club, the fella who owns the club, doesn't seem to have any concept of what is going on.
I think the likes of Kevin Thelwell are trying to bring people in, but you're trying to bring people in with.
Well, what's the point?
I mean, I don't know. To him, I imagine whoever's the finance person or whatever is going, well, there's only like, so he's got to then go from one to one. What
happens though?
Can we buy him?
What happens though? Does Kevin Thelwell go through a whole deal and then go to the Premier League and go, "Can I do this?" And they go, "No." Is it that kind of thing? No, I mean, what are we getting down the road with deals and then someone's going, "You can't do that"? Are we getting down the deals and then someone goes, "These have just offered me more"? Do you know what I mean?
I'm sure like that's happened. Obviously, want to do it harder. I'm sure Forrest and people like that have offered more, and he'll end up there or whatever, or he'll end up at Bournemouth because the owner of Bournemouth now owns Lorient or something. I don't know. There'll be others, won't there? Everton will go for, and they'll ask for the numbers, and the numbers will be too high, so Everton are out of that. But it all spans back to poor decision making, which is why we're in this situation. We should have loads of money right now. We shouldn't have any issues, and we shouldn't be anywhere near where we are.
I think one of the problems though, we've got 2 big issues there. We've got FFP problems clearly, but we've also got a fellow who's reluctant to actually, I think, spend money.
Well, maybe.
We've got 2 things working at the same time against us.
And that's the issue, isn't it? And I don't know how. I've no idea how. How you can get round it, because I'm not a finance person. I would have thought. I
don't think there is a way round.
I would have thought.
I think the only way round is selling somebody. Yeah. I think that's the only way round, and Everton have got to make.
Because that loosens the thing.
Jokingly put on Twitter on Sunday, Spurs, if you want Pickford 60 million, what are you talking about selling our best player? And I was like, well, first of all, it was a bit of a joke because Spurs goalkeeper threw one in, but the other side of it was like, He's in it last 18 months of his contract. You do understand he will, in the summer, if we do get relegated, he's walking out for a bag, 10p mix. That's going to happen. And what would you rather we could get if I mean, I'm not saying we get 60 million for him, but what if Everton could sell him, replace him with another goalkeeper who's adequate, and buy a couple of centre forwards?
Oh, of course,
have the FFP ability to go and get 2 centre forwards on loan with an option to buy in the summer. Those 2 fellas keep you up, because it's not like Jordan Pickford is keeping us, is saving us.
No,
we're losing games.
Yeah.
We're conceding goals. It's not like he's making worldy saves.
We're in a situation where we've got to raise money.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is. And Everton have, there was talks, they were in contract talks with them and all that. Well, now there's talks that they've took them contract offers back or whatever, or they're not. Nothing's progressing. So,
well, it's pointless, isn't it? It's pointless giving it.
Well, it is pointless because we end up in the championship. He wouldn't stay anyway, would he? So, therefore, you've got to look to put stuff back into the team. And if you can get an average, if someone come in for Jordan Pickford and he wanted to go, and if a Champions League team did, I'm sure he would want to. Why wouldn't you? And then you can reinvest that money back in the team and bring in areas where you need it and have a steady goalie.
Just talking again, difficult. People in the comments just saying, like, how did Chelsea and Manchester City get round FFP? Well, number one, FFP is over 3 years, so it's about balancing your books over 3 years. Manchester City, let's not forget, did they make a profit in the summer, or they were just they sold incredibly well? Don't forget,
they sold a lot. They sell.
In fact, they might have sold Arsenal the title by Jesus going there. Don't forget, they sold really well in the summer. City, they do spend ridiculous amounts of money on wages, and their sponsorship deals are questionable. But City, let's not forget, have gone to court with UEFA and won a couple of times with them. Because they can afford the best lawyers, and normally, if you can afford the best lawyers, the outcome is you win because they know law. Chelsea, again, let's not forget, when Frank Lampard was their manager, which wasn't that long ago, they could not spend money. So they had a summer where they did not, and they got 100 million for Hazard. Let's not forget. So they got 100 million for Hazard and didn't spend, and then for the last 2 years have spent. So I don't know where their FFP is, but there's this ridiculous idea that these clubs just spend and spend and spend. These clubs make huge amounts of money from their sponsorship deals. Man City got a brilliant deal with Puma. They've obviously got the Etihad for the kit and for the stadium. Chelsea have got brilliant sponsorship. Chelsea are the biggest club in America as well, by the way. This is often forgotten. They are the biggest club in America. They go over there and they go on tour there and they have sellout games and all this stuff. It's all this stuff. We don't understand this. I was listening, I caught a bit of the space last night, and there was the reason I put it on was they had a guy who's I think he used to work for Everton in the commercial department, and they had him on, and he basically someone I didn't hear his main bit. But someone asked him about someone said, "Oh, Everton never advertise. You never hear about them on radio or anything. You're always hearing about Liverpool." And they asked him to come back on, and he said, "Well, Everton have got to deal with Fanatics, which basically means it's absolutely pointless for Everton to advertise merchandise because it doesn't make them any more money because they're tied into a deal, and it doesn't matter how much more Everton sell. It doesn't, and we've been tied into these contracts for years and years. In fact, this was one of the big things years ago with Everton when they signed that deal with JJB, and the deal was awful, and they tied themselves in for years, and then they went back and got more, and then they went with Kitbag. And they've been tying themselves into these deals for so long, and obviously they've got one for the hospitality as well. Everton outsource everything, so they're never making any real money. And the deal with Hummel is, they had to go cap and hand to stake in the summer, and no one wants a gamble. They said, "Oh, we are better than everyone else. We don't have gambling companies on our shirt," and then went and got one with one that I don't even think it's got a license in this country. So that's where we are as a club. We sell out. We're basically like the Tories. We just sell everything off.
We need as much money as we can get.
No, we do.
Don't we?
We do.
That's just the way it is.
That's the way. But don't forget, this was a club that 3 or 4 years ago was like, we've got more money than anybody. And
no. What can you do, mate?
I don't know. Well, what you can do is you can sell the bleeding club.
Yeah,
that's what you. That's the only
that's
thing.
Simple, isn't it?
That's the only
as simple
thing
as that, isn't it?
But he won't. He won't. Whilst he thinks the stadium can make him a fortune, and it just can't. It's not going to save him. The stadium is not worth a penny if we're in the Championship, because you've just lost all that money via your asset being completely valueless.
Yeah, it is mad. Like, it's absolutely mad what's gone on. And I don't like you said, the amount of gaffes they've made over the last week has been incredible. Really bad.
Well, I think this whole thing has proved in the last few days. It's proved that they haven't got a clue. Like they're
so out of touch.
They literally brought in a guy from the Echo to be their spin doctor, and he's so out of touch with the fan base because he's been up Ken Knight's arse for the last 10 years or even longer, that he's forgotten what the fan base actually looks like. He thinks the fan base is stupid, and the fan base have got a lot of intelligent people in them, one of them being John. And it's, sometimes I've said this, sometimes I think, oh, did I say something silly there? And then John goes, no, you didn't. And he actually messaged me last night and said, a lot of my friends, which obviously goes to the billionaire club and all that, secret handshake club. No woman allowed in this club, sir. Well, they're all.
I mean, he doesn't, but he's trying to build the story.
And he said people watched that and thought you spoke very well. So, and I take great comfort from that. That intelligent people think that what's going on is awful.
Wrong. Yeah, I had a few of the comments from our Premier members.
Just hope Haaland gets that 60th goal anyway.
Baz, can you ask Andy and Tim for the names of some potential coaches we could go for? Yeah, I will do. Matt says, yes, they should sign Dembele. Shouldn't be the only signing, no. Eric says, get him in. Patient power. Thomas says it's actually mind-blowing how pathetic we are trying to get the team better by getting crap players. Connor says, I'm 21, I've never seen my club win anything. Living in Ireland and travelling over most weekends to watch us, spending all my money on us. Now we're just a club accepting failure. Can't even bring in any players. The higher ups don't care in my eyes, and it's such a shame watching my club accept failure when our fans are the best fans I've ever seen, the most loyal, but our club can't give us anything back. It is mad. It is. I mean, it's take your hat off to you, like travelling over from Ireland every other week to watch Everton, and there's nothing. They're giving you nothing. We haven't even got players who kids want the names on the back of shirts. There's nothing. Steve P says, do you find it baffling the way it looks like we're sticking with Lampard when he's the only realistic way of us staying up is getting a new manager in? Typical how he's the one manager who genuinely deserves to be replaced more than anyone else, and it's not happened. He's been here a year now, proved he's nowhere near good enough. His comments about us being in a relegation fight when he took over, and his aim was to stay around the same position, was the end for me. It's his job to improve. His aim to stay down. Wasn't his job to improve and take us up the league. He took us backwards, which is mad considering the position we were in when he took over. He's got a 24% win ratio in the Premier League. The only other manager worse is Mike Walker. Goes on and on and on. I think they just don't know what to do, Steve. That's the problem. They'll have no idea if they were to sack him who they would replace him with. I don't know, mate, honestly. It's a results business, which I keep saying, and therefore his results aren't good enough, are they? Jay says, I came up to Goodison on Saturday from Leicester to cheer the lads on. No ticket. My last game I watched at Goodison was Brentford. So sorry for that fellow Blues. Did have a lovely lunch in the hot walk before going home. Not a great Sunday morning, no. Wouldn't be. Glenn says, Ped, where did you get your Everton Mully hat from? The match reaction video. It's Aces at a Toffee TV hat.
No, it was an Everton one from a couple of years ago. 3 or 4 years. No, it was ages ago. I think someone might have sent me it or something, but it's dead fluffy on the inside. It's not like doesn't grate against my forehead, so I really love it.
Cam loved your coat, but didn't love your socks.
They were orange, mate.
Burnt orange.
Sorry, can I just show you this? This is from Saturday, right? I know it doesn't really mean stuff, but
know where the foul was.
Look at the foul.
Yeah, the foul was a foot outside the box. He moved it back so he could get it up and down. Referee allowed him.
Fucking hell.
Anthony Gordon fouled whoever it was about 2 foot outside our box, and he moved it back about 10 foot so we could get it up and down over the wall, and Everton just allowed him to do whatever. Ralph says, all right, lads, just a big thank you for all your content and keeping us up, supporters up to date on what's going on at this very sad time at our beloved club. Nice one, Ralph. Much appreciated, mate. Adam says, Newcastle had 11 points this time last season. Does that give you lads a boost this afternoon? Well, it just shows what can be achieved. I'm sure they finished.
Changes have already been made.
I'm sure they ended up with like about, I don't know, 40 odd points, didn't he? So you can't. Everton aren't down. But but
Newcastle started.
There's no changes though. There's no
Newcastle
changes.
started the process a lot earlier. Howe was brought in what, November
well,
time?
10 games he hadn't won. They didn't win this first 10
So
games.
that's what I'm saying. And they started picking up draws. They got through December and this time last year, I think because of COVID and stuff, they still had a lot more games to play. So.
Where are we? Terry Max says, afternoon lads, tremendous video yesterday on the state of the club. Right now, while you've been live, Ian Wright put a clip on Twitter of him on his podcast apologising for his comments on Mathew today, because now he has more information. He regrets what he said. He's one of the good guys. He's honest. He shouldn't have said it at the time without all the info, but he's honest and people will have shown him and he's just reacted to it. But good, fair play to him for coming out. Anyone can make a mistake, anyone can say something without all the information. It's what you do next, isn't it? And fair play to him. Kev says, do you think there might be a chance of Moyes coming back if he's sacked by West Ham? If he didn't, I'd want them to get Dunk back and put the feelers out to Rooney to come in as his number 2. Rooney wouldn't come in as his number 2.
I think Moyes would only come back if Ken Wright maybe was
got his
choosing
own way,
but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't. Andrew Ryan says the board have literally turned on the fan base in the most vile way possible, making up lies about death threats and assaults to mask their own cowardice and failures. They turned the media on us with these lies and worked with Sky claiming our coach welcome was more of a riot to get at players than the attempts of the fan base rallying the team. They knew what they were doing, turn the narrative back on the fans, make us all out to look like thugs, leave the only people there to vent the fans' frustrations out on the players and managers. Then they hope some idiots do something stupid so the media can pick it up and point the finger at us and say to the rest of the world, look what these are really like. Then everyone forgets what's really going on at Everton and blames the fan. I've already seen it on social media. Embarrassing fan base. Hope they get what they deserve. Ken Wright's been pulling his craft for years. He's a coward, pure and simple. What type of man allows an 18-year-old lad to take the blame and anger for a whole fan base for his failures? I've accepted we're going down. It's really that bad. I don't want us to go down, and I'll do everything I can to help us stay up. Blah de blah. Sorry for the rant. No, listen, it's what you say what you feel. It'd be lovely. Jay says, be lovely to hear Wrighty putting the record straight on Mathew today. Tom says, where do we go from here? The media and everyone else has bought into the club's lies, and it's a joke. Joe says, if Greg O'Keefe that spill that filth, they should be treated exactly the same as the Sun for vilifying the people from Liverpool.
Let's not go that far.
What I would say, Joe, right, what I would say, I know Ped said this bit, right, what I would say is they were, as journalists, because they are, right, they were passed a story by Everton, the same as a lot of other media outlets, and they've put it out. Okay, now that story has got massive holes in it, as different news outlets are reporting today. There's a lot who have quite very quickly done a bit of a 180 on Everton now, and are starting to go the other way. TalkSport have basically had a bit this morning. Simon Jordan's called the ball out this morning, and things like that. So really, I'm not having a go with Greg and Paddy for writing it.
I am.
I know, but that's fine.
I am.
That's what
no, but look at the headline.
No, I know. Just hang on. Right? But the reality is that's now come out as it's not real. So therefore, change it. Take it off. Take it down. If it's the editorial, come out and
Paddy's
say.
got nothing to do with it.
No,
to be fair.
So you call Paddy.
No, I know. Fair. No, sorry, I apologise, Paddy. It says on the Athletic, it says Everton CEO Denise Barrett-Baxendale put in headlock by fan Greg O'Keefe. David Ornstein.
No,
I know. But I'm saying, no, that's the main story on Everton's thing.
No, I know.
So that needs to be changed.
That should be changed because it isn't. It's not being proven anywhere. It's not fact.
And in the story, it says it is and then underneath it says, according to a source that doesn't want to be named.
Yeah.
That headline does not... And I know, the thing about it, people who write stories don't have anything to... But so, Greg, right, they're making you look like a tit.
They are. They're making you look bad, Greg.
It mightn't have anything to do with you, mate, so fair enough, and I apologise if it hasn't got anything to do with you. But they're making you look like a tit. And you're the athletic reporter... and I've seen people, by the way, say I've cancelled my subscription.
No, I've seen loads.
That is not on.
No.
That is not on because it tarnishes all of us.
Let David Ornstein put his name to it.
That tarnishes all of us, by the way. It does, doesn't it? Because it's bad. It's that thing of like, well, who done it? Could have been anyone.
No, it's bad. It's
bad. Pull the mask off and find out it was Bill.
And therefore, what you need to do is remove your name from it, Greg. Just to protect yourself, because if you've not thingied that. It's not fact, is it? If it's fact, the club needs to come out and give us all the facts, and then you can turn around and go, see, I told you. I put it out, and it was right. But right now...
And it's still there. It's still there. I just checked it just to double check it. It's still there. It still says Greg O'Keefe and David Ornstein. It still says Everton CEO.
Listen, everyone can see it.
It's still there. It's still on. It's still on the website. It's still there. It's still on the app. So, if you care to comment, anyone from The Athletic, Greg O'Keefe, David Ornstein, it's still there. Absolutely disgusting.
Tom says, what do you think of Ian Knight's apology to the Everton fans? It's good. It's good because he's got the information and he's gone, I was wrong. No issue with that. He said something, it was wrong, and he's apologised for it. Fair play. And that's the whole thing, isn't it? That's the whole thing. Like I said before, you can make a judgment, or you can say something at the time. You're allowed to change your opinion, or you're allowed to get something wrong if you then say you were wrong and move on from it. Jamie, Baz, how much would you accept for Anthony Gordon? Honestly, has he done at Everton for you? I don't think he's done at Everton for me, but he hasn't done enough for me to think, oh, we can't lose him. Absolutely. So, it's one of them, mate, isn't it? Anthony Gordon's like everybody else who pulls the blue shirt on. I expect them to run through a brick wall for us, because you're in a very privileged position, earning crazy money for just kicking a football around. And I don't want to hear people come back with nonsense. They're elite sports people and all this bollocks, because I see the Premier League every week. There's nothing elite about the Premier League. A couple of teams are. The rest of it, it's average. And I've said this a million times. It's average. Don't see anything in the Premier League you don't see anywhere else. I'm sorry if that upsets people. No, there'll be one person on YouTube who he knows who he is, who keeps trying to tell me it's amazing or not. That's nonsense. You're obviously not very experienced at watching football. Anthony Gordon, when he pulls an Everton shirt on, should be running through a brick wall, should be thanking himself and God or whoever he prays to, or whoever it is, or just his mum and dad, for him having a talent that allows him to be paid unbelievable amounts of money for having a game of footy.
Have you seen the story about him today?
No. And therefore he should be running up and down, running through brick walls. The same as every Everton player, by the way. Not just Anthony Gordon. Our goalie that forgot to dive half the time. Our centre-backs that allow people to run. Our midfielders that don't do. Our strikers that don't put the ball in the back of the net. All of them. The manager, everybody. They're all very, very privileged to work in football. People go to work for 60, 80 hours a week for buttons. Can't put the heating on their knees. Are given massive privileges. And are massively underperforming. And there's people at the top of the football club on big wages whose responsibility it is to make sure we're not in the position we're in, on huge money, and are now blaming us as fans. So the whole thing's a mess. It's a mess. And every single one of them needs to have a look at themselves. Every one of them. Yeah. There's good people at Everton Football Club. There is. Of course there is. Right? And maybe they need to look at themselves as well. Is everybody really doing everything to make us a better football club and to help us out of this mess? Well, I don't think everyone could turn around and look at anyone in the eye and go, I'm doing everything I possibly, because I don't believe it. Some will be. Absolutely they will be. Absolutely they will be. Some will be curtailed by people above them, line managers. Others will be curtailed by the board, and the board are probably done in by the owner. It's a mess and it needs to change. And short of him selling the football club, I don't know how it changes. I really don't.
Resignations.
Oh no, the board. But there's no way back for the board. Now the board are done. The board are done. You can't come back from this. You can't. You really can't. You can't. You've alienated most Evertonians now. Not all of them. Some will still.
They all should be alienated, though.
But,
they all should.
But they won't be.
And I know they won't. But they should be because they've lied to you. They've lied, and there will be people. And listen, I've got on Saturday when that news come out, right? I understand why people would say, of course, we're going to take the word of a
but you're going to, aren't you?
But when you come, so those people have been lied to. Those people have been made to look stupid. They've been made to look stupid.
No, they have.
Because ultimately, this story's not real. I didn't believe it the minute I saw it. I didn't believe a grown woman could be put in a headlock at a football match.
But all I'll say, right, is I still don't know if she was or she wasn't, right? But the reality is, if she was, but just listen to me.
I'm listening.
If she was, right, why isn't it everywhere?
Yeah, exactly.
Why have the club not come out? There's all of, this, right? This. We're not saying anything else on the subject.
Yeah.
That's like saying to your kid, you're not playing on your PlayStation for the rest of the night. I don't want to hear another word, right? Regardless of what they've got to say, because it's like, that's the end of the subject. Go away. That happened, go away. We say to Ned when he makes us a cold cup of coffee. Yeah. You're not making another one.
Fair,
end of story.
Or when you put 14, you had to buy a coffee machine because Ned put 8 spoons of coffee in my drink and wondered why.
Kept them up all night.
Up a couch. No, I think it's more like when a kid says to you, Dad, can you explain to me about Father Christmas? And you just go, it's real, and that's the end of it.
Not none with that.
No, I know there isn't.
Say that with all my kids.
Because he is real.
But,
the spirit lives
exactly,
all of us.
That's what it is.
But the spirit of the headlock doesn't.
What I'm saying is, right, if, and I'll say this again just for clarification, right, if this happened to Denise Barrett-Baxendale, it is an absolute disgrace, right? And it should be put out there. And I want to hear what the club have done. I want to hear it all. Everything. And I want to hear what the club have done. Because when the lad threw the bottle last season against Villa. Poor Roger. I'll put him, he shouldn't have been thrown.
No, I know he shouldn't have been, but
guy. We knew his name.
It's justice.
We knew his name. I mean, his name's amazing, but we knew his name. We knew where he lived. He was banned. He had to go to court. We knew everything. Within a day. Like, this happened. When was Brighton the second? This 15 days ago, this incident happened, right? And it hasn't been clarified by anyone other than what the club have said, right? If it did, it's an absolute disgrace. Nobody should feel scared going the match. No one should be manhandled at the match. Nobody, unless you're celebrating an Everton goal. Nobody should. No one should worry about going the game. If there's a mad, deranged headlocker running around Goodison Park, I want to know. I take my lad the match. I want to know if I'm gonna or he's gonna get put in a headlock from nowhere, right? In an area where you can't even get to the CEO, really, unless you jump. No one's jumping, dropping down, and no one's going near them, are they? So it needs to come out. The football club have a responsibility, if it's happened, to come out and tell us, because we will back the CEO on this. Absolutely. Someone's attacked there. It's a disgrace.
My wife is the ambassador of Her Game 2 for Everton. This is massively important. This is something that affects people who go to the game. There'll be fallout from this. There is fallout. Of course there will. People will look at this and go, hang on, this has to be. And what Everton did, and with that thing last night, Everton basically said, oh no, well, let's push it under the carpet. I said, well, you're the one who brought it out in the first place. You're the one in your hidden source. You're the one who leaked this to the press. So come on then, tell us all about it. Tell us what happened. Let's go and catch the guy. Is he driving down the road in his white Ford Bronco? What's going on?
It is mad. It's mad, and it needs to be like sorted very quickly by Everton and get it out there. So because everyone will condemn it if it's real and it's confirmed. I guarantee you, most Evertonians will absolutely condemn it, because we're not thugs and we're not divvies and we're not this and that and the other. So, and that, and the club is where it is right now. The club is in a mess right now. We're trying to, like I said before, I'm quite sure Kevin Thelber's trying to bring players in massively difficult circumstances, but I still feel like this should have been going on in November. These deals should have been done then. Whoever's got the finances at the club needed to come up with a way to get Kevin Thelwell a bit of leeway so he can buy players to give this team a chance of staying up. And it feels like we're just all over the gaff. And that's for me is woeful. I'm not going to sing "Oh Nana," am I? Come on.
I don't know what I'd rather sing.
Come on.
Know what I'd rather
well, hello to your 4-year-old daughter.
You know what I'd rather sing?
Yeah.
Welcome. Yeah, that was when I was happy.
Well better. It was well better.
I was happy then.
Yeah. Like last couple on Premier. Something needs to happen, doesn't it? Something needs to happen very quickly. We've got 2 weeks to go, haven't we, in the transfer window? We got a big game at the weekend against West Ham, which is, they're calling it El Sachico and all that nonsense. Because probably whoever loses will be sacked.
Yeah.
Won't he? Gray Lee says signed Dembele. Yes. Thomas says, what makes me laugh is Everton have always left you in the cold thinking you're the devil. I'm not being funny, I can't speak for all Everton fans, but I know a lot who've thrown in the towel, would have thrown in the towel without this channel. I love this club, it's in my blue blood, but it's bad for my health. I'm 27 and I really don't need it. The World Cup made me realise I love football. Yeah, football a game without any emotion in it, like
football documentaries.
Horrible emotion is brilliant.
Have you watched the transfer documentary on the Evening Sky? Have you? It's good. It's good.
No,
it's good.
I'm watching the Super League one on Apple last
yeah.
night. I've watched the first bit of that.
This one's good because it follows certain players round as they're trying to get transfers and their agents and stuff, and it's good. It's really, really good. And it's they're like basically saying the agents are. Someone actually says the agents are the heart of football.
Oh my God!
Which is amazing. It's Stingo. It's Damasio, says he.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he says he's like they get a bad rap, but they're actors. But it's funny because there's a player who goes to Lens, and it's basically they're shopping him round, and he goes to. I don't think he ends up at Lens though, but he goes to Lens and is, they're giving his like mum flowers and all kinds, obviously
sweet talking
and all that.
It's mad. Gray Lead says I cancelled my Athletic sub a few months ago after I got banned on the comments section because pro board people didn't like my comments on the state of Everton Football Club. I didn't even swear. The Athletic is another Bill mouthpiece. Also says all of our players are very clever. They're thicker than Ross Barkley, who incidentally would walk right through our pathetic excuse for a football team on a whim. Jonathan Ricketts says, what do you see happening with the club, the board owner and manager? Can you see the board resigning, Mashiri selling, and then the manager's sacked? It can't all happen quickly though, can it? The board can resign.
But this is why
quickly,
I said yesterday
and Lampard can be sacked, but Mashiri can't sell a club quickly.
But if Mashiri come out and said, listen, I've heard the concerns of the fans and I am looking to sell the club now, maybe that would go some way. I don't know. They need to do something. They need to find some kind of something, where we can have some kind of mutual, because this is ridiculous.
He said he's committed, isn't he?
He's going to get committed.
I'm saying that.
Do you know what I mean? Because he's living in fantasy land, and that's the problem. We've got too many enablers, and that's why resignations need to happen as well. Bill Kenwright, world's biggest Evertonian, Coronation Street star, needs to go. I'm going. I'm going, mate, because this is ridiculous. I'm not going to be any part of this. Graham Sharp could be the first one to do it. Graham Sharp could resign and go, this isn't Everton. This isn't Everton. Yeah. We can't do nothing. If the board genuinely are at the mercy of the man, then what's the point? Yeah. Walk away. Yeah. Just walk away.
Because you're making you look even worse, isn't
like Cass said.
There you go. Hello to Hallie. Hallie Laird. Hello, Hallie. You all right? Yeah, right. Willow says the next 4 games, how many points you think we'll get? If it's anything above 0, I want whatever you're drinking. I know, but you've got it. I don't know. The next 4 are West Ham away, Arsenal at home, Liverpool away, Leeds. We'll beat Leeds at home.
Don't say things like
we will. West Ham, I can't see us getting a result at West Ham, but I don't know. Arsenal at home should be a comfortable win for Arsenal. You never know what's happened by then. Liverpool away.
Well, at least
can't
somewhere
see
like
anything,
Arsenal,
but you can accept
our tactics will actually
dictate.
our tactics will work in so many ways. We'll play 5 at the back. Those games take care of themselves.
Yeah. It's a tough one, Willow, isn't it? Because things might have changed and all that, but I don't know. There you go. The Blues says no goals, no technical ability, awful fullbacks, nobody who can cross, slow centre backs, and no money to fix these issues. Other than that, he's quite happy, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Connor says we better. I'm not travelling all that way from Alabama to Liverpool to see us lose to a cut rate Ted Lasso.
I got news for you. There you go.
The Blues has got a shock face, beat Leeds at home. Yeah, Leeds are amazing, aren't they, mate? They're absolutely
lost
brilliant.
A ridiculous amount of games.
They're terrible. This is you see, this is what I mean. I'm not even going to discuss it. Machiri's waiting to the new. Eugene says, think Machiri's waiting until the stadium's finished before he'll go.
Fair enough.
He maybe is
League One by then.
But yeah, he's also got to. They've got to realise what's going on, though, haven't they, as well? You know, you can still say, I'm not going to fully sell it until then. But we're in the mess right now. So, Royal Blue says, the guy's back again on Premier. Yeah, we're back on Premier at 5. We're going to do the Tuesday topic in a minute for Premier. So, that is what... If
any of our Premier members want to send us
send us a video in right now. Yeah.
Ned's saying we've got one.
Oh, we've got one? Oh, okay, sad. All right, well, that's what we'll be doing then. Take it easy. If you can, Blues, enjoy the afternoon. If you're not an Evertonian, that's fine. Enjoy your afternoon as well.
You'll enjoy it.
As well. Take it easy. We will see you all later. Bye.